Hi, Chantal. How are you?
I'm very good. How are you, Stephanie?
I'm very well. And could you introduce yourself to our listeners today?
Yes, my name is Chantal Ann Dumas. I'm a naturopathic doctor and medical advisor for AOR for the past 10 years.
Fantastic. And so we're talking about two products today, Solufibre and the PEAk Antioxidant Support. And first of all, actually, before we speak about the products, why don't you tell us a little bit about the story of AOR?
Yes, I'd love that. Thank you, Stephanie, for asking. I always like to start my presentations with the story of AOR because I find it very inspiring. So, AOR actually stands for Advanced Orthomolecular Research, and it's a long term just to express that we are seeking to have the right form of the different molecules and the right dosage delivered at the right place in the body at the right time. So that's what stands behind AOR. We are a Canadian company founded 28 years ago by Dr. Traj Nibber, who's a pharmacist. And Dr. Traj was initially contacted by people with AIDS, which is an advocacy group. They were in the Ottawa area back then. And the group was searching for a source of hard to find formulations. And they approached Dr. Traj, and Traj was really surprised by the lack of access to these nutritional supplements and also by the failure of the dietary supplements industry to make available nutrients whose role in science was very well established by rigorous scientific investigations. So, in other words, the science supporting nutritional supplements was widely available, but the supplements which could replicate those results of found in the studies were not. So he was actually quite shocked. So then Dr. Trash began to immerse himself in the literature on nutritional supplements and began to develop different formulations of his own. Eventually went on to launch new natural health products, made them available to a wider audience of health conscious individuals and practitioners. And eventually, OR became a leading provider of genuinely innovative nutraceuticals in North America and around the world. We actually collaborate with about 30 universities around the world on different projects. So for the past 28 years, our mission's always been to transform scientific research into evidence-based natural products that empower people to lead their best lives. So that's what we do.
That is fantastic. I've been around for a long time.
Yes,
Goodness.
it has. It has. Many people only found out about us about 10 years ago because the first few years AOR was really focused on developing products, not so much into marketing. And
Mhm.
we eventually became more widely known.
Well, it's great because your products are fantastic, and now that they're out there,
Yes.
goodness, yes. So we are talking about the Solufiber and the peak antioxidant support. Which one
Yes.
would you like to speak about first?
Let's talk about Solufiber because I
Mhm.
find that this is a really underappreciated I would say product, but also fibers as a whole. Like, over the past, I don't know, 10 years, we became more familiar with the whole aspect of our microbiota, so all the good bacteria in our gut. But we forget that these bacteria need to have food, they need to have energy to survive. And this energy is actually provided by the fibers. And our diet is actually very, very deficient in fibers as a whole.
Mhm.
So the different recommendation of different bodies are estimating about 30 grams per day, a little bit less for women, a little bit more for men. And we actually found out through different research that Canadians only consume about half that amount because the diet that is high in processed foods is actually very low in fibers. So we only have in our diet half of the fibers we need. And that also amounts to why there are so many intestinal problems. But not only that, because as we know now, about 80% of our immunity starts in our gut. So when we have a healthy gut, we have a better immune system. So that's why I'm so passionate about fibers.
Fantastic. Well, can you tell us how it's different than other fiber supplements on the market?
Yes. Actually, if I can just maybe add a few of the benefits of the fiber, like I spoke about
Absolutely.
how they feed our good bacteria, but fibers also regulate our bowel movement. So they're both effective when we have constipation. So they provide bulk and help alleviate constipation, and also diarrhea because they will absorb the excess water in our gut. So by maintaining this overall bowel health, fiber lowers the risk of developing hemorrhoids and colon cancer. They are filling, so that means we eat less. So that's why diets high in fruits and vegetables are usually amount to lower calories because we feel fuller. They also reduce heart disease and stroke. They control blood sugar, lower cholesterol. They also
Mhm.
help protect against breast cancer by reducing the availability of estrogen. So, in other words, when our liver detoxify our estrogens and other toxic compounds, the fibers trap them and make sure they are eliminated outside our body. So, a lot of advantages and benefits to taking fibers either in our diet, but to actually reach 30 grams of fibers in the diet is quite an exercise. So it's much easier to have a fiber supplement. So that's one of the first thing I would say, like when you're asking what's the difference, we
Mhm.
have a supplement that amounts to 5 grams of fiber per scoop. So that's quite easy this way to reach that 30 grams per day. What else? Well, first of all, many fibers are gluten based, and gluten is a very inflammatory molecule. So we want to reduce our gluten intake as much as possible. So if we have to take a gluten based fiber, then it's not it's not so good. It's kind of defeating the purpose. Then the Solufibre is contains a patented highly soluble form of fiber, which is called sun fiber, and it has been used in clinical trials. It has been studied in children and found to be one of the most palatable and well tolerated soluble fiber that does not alter the taste and texture of food or drink. So basically, when you mix this powder in
Mhm.
even plain water, it dissolves completely. So it has no taste, doesn't alter the texture, and so you can hide it very easily. So even for children, it's an awesome supplement. It's made out of guar gum, so it does not contain gluten. And what's great about guar gum is that it ferments more slowly in the intestinal tract, so it does not create that bloating feeling that other type of fibers may create. So it's very well tolerated, and it goes through a process called hydrolyzation, and that process breaks down the guar gum into smaller units. So that's why it's very well dissolved and well absorbed, and does not really taste or create any change in your water. And it's also low FODMAP compliant. So for those people who are on a FODMAP pardon, diet, it would be good also. And what else? It does not contain any preservative. It's non-GMO, so that's also very interesting. So that's why I'm so fond of this product.
Oh, it sounds fantastic. And you mentioned as well that it's suitable for children.
Mhm.
At what age?
I would say any age. The only thing is I would start with, a very small amount and then increase progressively because, depending also, let's say we're talking about a child who's been on antibiotics, then they might have a more delicate balance in their gut bacteria. So you want to, go in and increase dosage, and you measure depending on the age.
Fantastic. And can I ask, are there any contraindications? Any certain
Um,
people taking
there's not
medication?
Yeah, no real
Mm,
contraindication, but you would want to take the fibers about 2 hours before or after taking a medication so that it
mhm,
doesn't get trapped in the fibers per se. And you also want to make sure you have a good fluid intake. So I would say for an adult, at least 1.5 liter of water per day because you want the fibers to, to move inside your gut. So you want to make sure you have an adequate fluid intake.
excellent. And do you have a personal experience or a testimonial you'd like to share about this particular product?
Well, it is a product that I take myself. I have a lot actually of testimonies because it's one of the supplements I recommend on a regular basis. I would say the most impressive ones are for people on detox. You know, when you go on a detox, unfortunately, so many people have leaky guts, so hyperpermeability of their gut lining. So we tend to have a lot of symptoms, especially if people are on detox for like candida yeast. They
Mm,
would have a lot of unpleasant symptoms during the detox. And when you add the fibers, and the fibers can actually trap the metabolites of the yeast and the byproducts, it really drastically reduce the side effects or the symptoms. So that's where you would see a most tremendous effect. Also, in control of blood sugar, when people have a hard time controlling their blood sugar, you see that by adding this supplement, it helps a lot. It's not an end per se. You still have to do
mhm.
what you have to do, but it will really help in controlling blood sugar.
Fantastic. That sounds like a great product. I can't wait to try
It
it
is.
myself.
It is.
Mm. And the next product, the Peak Antioxidant Support. I'm quite curious about that. Can you tell us a little bit about that
Yes.
product?
Yes, absolutely. This is our new and latest line of products. Actually, all the PEA products, and the PEA stands for palmitoyl-lethanolamine. Sorry, I'm not used to say it in English. That's why we call it PEA. That's much easier. And actually, PEA is kind of new on the market here, but it's been studied and researched for the past 80 years. So it's very well documented scientifically.
Hmm.
And PEA is actually a fatty acid that our body produces naturally, and it is produced normally under stressful events or to fight inflammation in our body or to fight invaders. So it's naturally produced in the body and it acts on the cannabinoid system. But what's great is that contrary to some of the cannabis products on the market, the PEA does not per se contain any cannabinoid. So it acts on the cannabinoid system. So anything you can think cannabis would do, like,
Hmm.
support the immune system, control inflammation, reduce pain, and all of that, it acts in the same manner, but is not actually cannabis based. So it's a very exciting molecule. And I was very happy that Dr. Traj decided to incorporate PEA products in our line of supplement. So basically, this is what the PEA is about. And then we have different products combining that amazing molecule with
Hmm.
other substances. So in this case, we're talking about the PEAk antioxidant support. So it's been the PEA molecule has been combined with alpha lipoic acid. So
Oh,
alpha
wow.
lipoic acid, you might be already familiar with it. It's known as the captain of the antioxidants due to its ability to recycle and recharge other antioxidants. People are finding out about all the benefits of antioxidants, and yes, you can go with like high dose vitamin C, for example, but
Hmm.
antioxidants need to work together. So it's always work more efficiently if you have a synergy of different antioxidants. And in that synergy, lipoic acid is absolutely crucial. It's very important because it will recharge your other antioxidants, such as vitamin C and vitamin E. And numerous studies have shown that lipoic acid can balance blood sugar and also repair nerves damaged by diabetes. It protects the brain and increases the energy formation within the mitochondria, or the little fuel producer of our cells. So, as an antioxidant, it's amazing, but it also has properties beyond that, especially for diabetic people, and if you have any type of inflammation in your body. So, alpha lipoic acid is something you might want to consider. So, in this product, we have combined the amazing capacity of PEA to work on the cannabinoid system with the benefits of this antioxidant, anti-inflammatory substance called lipoic acid.
Wow, that sounds fantastic. So that's
It is.
really for anyone out there. I mean, and so many of us have inflammation, and there's so, and in terms of immune support, that's fantastic.
It is, and yeah, like you mentioned, inflammation
Mhm.
is quite a huge problem. It's at the core of so many of our chronic diseases. And the other aspect of this is people might say, "Well, I don't have diabetes," but we have a diabetes epidemics in this country, and a
Mhm.
lot of people actually are pre-diabetic, or suffer from diabetes and just don't know about it. So I would
Mhm.
say, if you feel that you tend to have those energy shortage after you eat, or having a problem sustaining your energy throughout the day, getting irritable when you go for a few hours without eating and all that, you might want to check your blood sugar, and you might want to consider a supplement like PEAk antioxidant, definitely.
Mhm. And when people take this ongoing?
Well, depending what's the objective, but I would say if you're using it as a diabetic patient, it might be a good idea, yes, to have it as part of your regular supplementation. If you're taking it because you're undergoing a specific, uh, situation, then
Mhm.
you will have to adapt it based on that. It's always difficult, Stephanie, to answer these type of
Of
questions, because
course, of
you know
course.
it's
Yeah.
naturopathic medicine is really a case by case approach. So, but I would say it is something you might want to consider taking long term. There are no real reason why somebody would need to
Mhm.
stop taking that supplement, so it's not something you need to cycle, for example. Another point I would like to add, Stephanie, is
Mhm.
some people are familiar with alpha lipoic acid, but few
Yes.
people know that you have two forms of lipoic acid. So it's a molecule that comes in two different forms. So the natural form of lipoic acid is what we call the R form,
Mhm.
and is the one that the body will recognize and use. But in most supplement, you have an equal amount of the R form and of the S form, and the S is synthetic. And what happens in our body is that they basically cancel each other out. So it's very important when you reach for a lipoic acid supplement to seek the R form of alpha lipoic acid if you want your body to utilize it more efficiently and to harness the full benefits of that supplement.
Very interesting. I didn't know that. Um,
Mhm.
are there any contraindications, or should certain people take caution perhaps when using the product? Or
Yeah, it has no side effects reported,
Mhm.
both in the case of alpha lipoic acid and of the PEA. However, we do not really have studies during pregnancy and breastfeeding, so I would
Mhm.
say consult with your healthcare provider.
Okay. And do you have a personal experience with this one or a testimonial you'd like to add?
Well, not on this one specifically because it's
Mhm.
fairly new, so I haven't had the chance to use it in my clinical practice. But the studies behind PA are really, really solid.
Mhm.
And of course, alpha lipoic acid, yes, I have used specifically that one from AOR because of, like I said, it is 95% R lipoic acid. We have it sustained release form as well. So I've seen tremendous improvement. For example, in people with diabetic neuropathy,
Wow.
I've seen a very quick and interesting improvement. So I'm sure that combined with the PEA, it's only like magnified. The PEA
Mhm.
itself, like I mentioned, like this is we're focusing on the blood sugar aspect because it's combined with the lipoic acid and the
Hmm.
inflammation. But PEA has been studied in case of autism for the immune response. Like it's very wide ranging because we have to remember that the cannabinoid system is all over our body, and it's basically a communication system. So when you act on that system, you have an effect on all the other systems basically in your body. So it's very very exciting science. You know, I've been in this industry for the past 22 years, so for me it's very interesting to see how far we've come with, you know, this whole bringing science into traditional approaches and really having well backed supplements. That, you know, it wasn't the case 20 years 20 years ago. Those
Hmm.
studies existed, but they weren't as available to practitioners as they are today. And the supplements obviously were not as science based and elaborated as what we have today.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and it's very important to be backed by science, and you guys certainly
Absolutely.
are. Um, and I'm just thinking that so many people can benefit from this product. It sounds
Yes.
really fantastic. And can I ask you, Chantal, where can we find AOR products?
Well, I would say first through your healthcare providers because it's always good to have, although, you know, the products I've mentioned today are very safe and, you know, most of our products are very safe and there's
Mhm.
not been, and that's something important to mention because
Mhm.
sometimes people are afraid of natural health products, but there's not been any death or major accidents related to natural products in Canada. So, you know, the products are very safe. But I would say it's more in terms of making sure you don't have interactions if you're taking any type of medication, making sure you're taking the best supplement for you. We have, for
Mhm.
example, genetic testing available with My Blueprint. And this is very, very interesting, something that we could do a whole interview about. And
Wow.
you know, we can really tailor you know, recommendation based on your genetics. So as I said, it's very exciting to see where we're at in terms of the natural health industry at this point. So it's always good to consult with somebody and making sure that you get the best out of the supplements in terms of the forms, the dosage, interaction with the current medication. Other than that, you know, you can order them through AOR online.
Mhm.
And also different stores and pharmacies carry AOR products.
Fantastic. And what is the website for AOR? Is that AOR?
A,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, AOR.ca, very simply.
Very simple. Excellent. Well, thank you so much. It's been so interesting talking with you
That
about
was a
that.
real pleasure, Stephanie. And you know, if the listeners have any question, then we have a full customer support team, so we'll be happy to answer any questions you might have regarding those products or the other amazing products we have at AOR.
Oh, thank you so much, Chantal. It's been such a pleasure speaking with you today.
Same here. So we'll probably talk soon. That would be
Yeah.
nice.
Okay.
Bye bye.